Welcome. So glad to have you. I am Ariana Jay, and I'm super excited to be here today. I own a seven-figure home and community-based agency in Alaska where I serve individuals with developmental disabilities and cognitive deficits. So I have a couple group homes and I have services outside of our group home, which we call those community hab. So that's just a little bit about me. Anyways, so today's training and today's live is going to be on what it takes to get through the startup phase. Okay. So I think I want to start off with really understanding what the startup phase is because a lot of people have so much misconception about what that actually is, right? And I think it's important that we clear that up and we discuss it because when you're going through the startup phase, it's it's longer than what you think. Okay? A lot of people think, "Oh, the startup phase is just getting the license," right? I think the startup phase is at least your first year in business, right? Getting started and then your first year in business, like serving, providing care. That's what I kind of define your startup phase, right? Because just because you get licensed and certified doesn't mean that you're going to make the money because you have to know how to market correctly, right? You have to know how to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, then you're not going to have the revenue. And even if you are, you're still trying to learn the business, still trying to get that feel. So the startup phase, I really say, is getting licensed, getting certified, and then once you are providing the care, at least 1 year in business from there. And then year two and year three, you're feeling really good. You're feeling stable. And it's not to say that you can't scale in year one. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying it's still kind of that startup phase, right? You're still trying to get that cadence of the business, of the service, of all of the things, right? And so what it takes to really get through that is a couple things. And I feel like a lot of you might know this, and that's fine. But I really feel like you really need like unwavering commitment, you need grit, and you need determination because it's going to be a sticky road. It's going to be a little bit of a bumpy road. And if you are one to not be able to handle it, then you'll be knocked off your game like super quick, right? Let's just talk about getting through the licensing process itself and getting to that checkpoint, right? Because when you are trying to get up in license, you're trying to figure out all of the nuances and requirements and meeting those requirements and submitting applications and going through inspections and all of those things, right? Sometimes our mind doesn't even get to the part where we have to actually, we're open for business and we have a sign that says we provide XXX care or XYZ care. I mean, we're not really having a sign like that, but you know what I mean? Like when you get to that checkpoint of actually being open for business, that's where people fumble, okay? The startup phase, yes, with actually getting licensed certified. They get there, they get their stamp of approval, they get their paperwork, they hang their license. Now what, right? That whole journey in itself can be rocky, right? And if you don't have the grit, the commitment, and the determination to get through it, you'll fall off and waste how much time, right? Not even just wasting time, but think about the commitment that you made to yourself to actually get going and get started. You actually don't follow through on that. So there's a lot of things that will happen if you do not have the unwavering commitment, the grit, and the determination. And it's almost like you have to do the mindset work weekly, daily, monthly, so that you can stay encouraged and stay committed because it does waver, right? You do waver, you do get weak, you do feel like, what the hell am I doing all this for? This is too hard. Like, and those are normal feelings, those are natural feelings. But a lot of people don't, they're not around people that are going to encourage them, right? And to be around people who are like-minded and who have the same mindset so that you can get reignited, right? Get excited again, look at things in a different way. You're able to go down and kind of go in this dip, right? In your feelings, but then you also have people to help you come back up and take off. And so those are the things that you're going to need to even get to the point where you can submit your application, right? So, I mean, people have to look at that because it does take a certain amount of grit. It does take a certain amount of determination. I always say I didn't care what the state threw at me. I didn't care what it was. I was at a point where I just said, come hell or high water, I will have my license and certification. Come hell or high water, I will be providing care. I didn't care what it was. Did I have moments where I cried? Did I have moments where I wanted to throw my hands up? Did I have moments where I was like, fuck, like this is hard, like what in the hell? Did I have moments like that? I absolutely had moments like that. And you're totally allowed to have moments like that. And that's going to happen. It's normal. Even in the startup provider program, you are going to come and you are going to be like, what do I do now? What's next? I'm feeling this. But the thing is, if you are feeling that way, which is normal, it's totally normal. I felt that way. I just told you guys. you have to be around people that are going to help you come out of that, right? Who are not going to let you wallow in pity because, yeah, shit's hard, right? You have to be around people who are going to be like, come on, sis, let's go. Or who are going to make you feel encouraged, like, well, look how far you've come. Look at how far, the roadblocks that you've already encountered and you conquered those. Like, you have to be around that. Or even seeing people who have already done it, right? Seeing people who are further ahead of you. That's encouragement. So it comes in all forms, but the fact is that you have to have that because you are going to go down. If you think you're going to just ride the wave forever, you're going to be disappointed because it's not like that. And then say you're past the licensing phase. You're licensed, you're certified, you got your letter. It's posted on the wall. And so now you're in business. Well, now it comes time for, marketing, which you should have been already doing before, you're open, or you're official. But you still have to get clients into your homes, programs, and services, right? And so then you're like, well, I'm open for business. I've went through all this stuff and nobody wants to give me a client. Nobody wants to place with me. And it's like, well, are you truly doing everything that you need to do? Are you looking at things differently? Like, you need to have that support of someone who's going to do that with you, but then also like the mindset work that goes involved, because it's very easy to get discouraged. It's very easy to say, look at all this time, energy, effort that I have put into getting this business started, and now I can't get any clients. It's month 1, you're in the red. Month 2, you're really still in the red. You just think about going into month 3 and 4, and you're like, is this going to be the same shit that happens all the time? Is this what I really worked for this whole time? And so you do need unwavering commitment, you need grit, and you need determination. Hopefully, if that's happening to you, or you are in that spot right now, you are implementing different things to help you pivot so you can get clients into your homes, programs, or services. So you are doing something different. But if you are taking the right action steps, you're talking to the right people who place your ideal client, then you should be good, right? The other thing I want to talk about that a lot of people struggle with when they are, still in that startup phase. And remember, I said the startup phase is going to be getting licensed and certified and then actively providing care to clients for that first year, right? And so leading a team. A lot of people don't know how to do that. They complain about hiring employees, then they get the employees, then they don't treat the employees right, and then they don't have the team to provide the care, and it's this vicious cycle, right? And so, yes, getting employees can be a challenge. I'm looking for an employee right now, right? It can be a challenge, but it is doable. But getting through that phase and feeling supported and not allowing your mindset to take a dip during that phase is going to be super helpful. I am thankful that I have a business partner who I'm able to turn to when I'm getting frustrated, when he gets frustrated, or like he can check me, I can check him, like all of these different things. I have a partner to be able to do that with. But if you don't have unwavering commitment to say, okay, if getting employees is challenging, let me check my mindset and then let me do something different. If I have employees and they're not doing what I want, maybe I need to implement some systems and structure to help them out, right? Because at the end of the day, it's on me if my employees don't perform. Period. If you see my story yesterday, you've seen that I shared that yesterday was a harder day for me. And it wasn't a harder day because I worked like a ton of hours or anything like that. It wasn't a hard day because I had like such a heavy lift with my workload. Like, that's not what it was. It was a heavier day because I was already going through some personal things on the back end, and I needed to show up presently for my staff. And I was doing a lot of training, right? I was doing a lot of training yesterday. And the one thing that I know for sure with being a leader and showing up for your staff is you have to provide them the training. So it didn't matter what I was going through on my personal side. I needed to show up, and I needed to show up properly for them so they felt supported. They felt comfortable with their workload and what they were required to do. And it was my job to make them feel that way, right? And so that's why it was a heavier thing. It was a heavier thing for me because of that. And I kind of had to check myself yesterday because my mindset, the minute that you get into that complaining mindset, or like, this is hard, or, this is annoying, or whatever it was, you have to check yourself, because I prayed to be in the exact moment that I was in, right? I prayed to have a dedicated care team. I prayed to have the clients that I have now. I prayed to have the freedom that I have. But what I had to do to get there is I had to have that unwavering commitment. I had to have the grit, and I had to have the determination to be at that spot. So even though you're getting to where you're going, you still have to check that mindset, because even when you have it all, right? You still are going to get to that place. I'm not in my first year of business or second or third or fourth year, right? So I know those things about myself, and I know how to properly align myself so I can get into that position. So my staff are not feeling anything negative as far as energetics with me, because I am there to train them. That's how what I was yesterday. I was there to train them, and they felt welcome. They felt supported. They felt encouraged. They felt like they were getting properly trained, and they actually told me that. She actually started crying, right? The team member that I didn't plan on sharing this today, but the team member I was training yesterday, I was talking to her. We were at the computer, and she just literally started crying, and I was like, oh shit, because I already know my own personal stuff I was thinking about, and I was like, can she feel that? And so she started crying, and I am one to not ask people what's wrong. Like, I don't do that. I let them feel through the emotion. Okay. After a minute or so, I'll say, well, do you want to tell me what's going on? But I don't ask people what's wrong, right? I try not to. And that's just like the therapeutic background of everything. And so I'm sitting there, she's full out bawling. And she says, I'm sorry. And I said, no need to apologize. If this is what you need to do, then go ahead and do it, And so she goes through it, and she says, they're just happy tears. And I'm like, oh. I said, well, do you want to tell me about it? And she says, I have never, in all of the places I've worked, I have never been treated with dignity, respect, and patience. She said, you are being so patient with me with this training. And they're happy tears. And, you allow people to process that. And I said, did you feel that during the interview phase or the interview that you had with us, did you feel like it was like too good to be true? Like, these people really aren't like that. And she said, I kind of did. Like, I kind of felt like I'm going to get there and then it's going to be a shit show, or they're not going to train me and throw me and stuff. And I said, no, it's not like that. It's my job to make sure you are supported so you can do your job the best that you possibly can. And so I was at the Hastings house for a few hours in the morning. I went back in the evening. So it was a long day for me, right? But she didn't know anything she didn't know anything I was going through personally. She just felt supported. And it's my job to make sure that she felt that way. I want to have the team, and a lot of people in that startup phase, they don't understand that, right? They don't understand that. Either they're totally hands off and allow their care team to do whatever. They don't know what the fuck's going on in their business, or they come across too strong and they don't know how to treat people. They don't know how to train. They don't have any processes and systems. They don't have anything. And so then they can't hire, or they're constantly hiring, right? So there's a lot that goes into it, but I feel like the three things that you need, are the unwavering commitment, grit, and determination. And I say, if you have a community behind you or alongside of you that is going to help you realign, I can't say it enough. Like, being aligned as a business owner is like the thing that you need, because if you don't have all of that, like, your energy will be off, your alignment to your business will be off, your purpose will be off, and everything will feel hard, right? Everything will feel hard, and it'll be a lot harder to even manage the day-to-day of your business. It will all feel heavy. Does that make sense? And at the startup for me, things did feel heavy. Hiring people, getting them to do what I needed them to do, how to show up, how to treat my clients the way I wanted to, like, all of it felt heavy. There was one point, it was about 2 years ago, I had told Andre, I was like, I can't be involved in the hiring process anymore. I'm like, I can't be involved in it, because I go off energetics, okay? I go off energetics a lot. I can walk into a room and I can feel the energy in the room, and that would change my internal energy. That's just how I am, right? And so for a long time, I didn't even want to even engage in the interview process. Like, I would do the interview, but I didn't want to do like talking to the candidate beforehand and seeing if they were the right fit, because of the energetic alignment, right? And then when a person comes in and they're the right fit and you hire them and then you're training them, for me, it was hard to invest my time, energy, and effort into training them properly, because I always allowed this block of, oh, they're going to quit, or, oh, they're going to leave, or, oh, so there was like this resentment with training people. Am I making sense? Tell me if I'm making sense, because I am like, let me know if I'm making sense. But there was almost like this kind of like resentment-ish feeling with training people, right? And so I didn't show up in the right energy. And so, yeah, I was training them, but then it wasn't like they felt supported. It kind of felt supported because I was, giving them the right information, but the energetics for myself, I know were off. And being a person that can really feel energy, that's a big deal. And imagine yourself on a first day, or imagine yourself in a new job. You want to feel like you can be properly trained. You want to feel like you're welcomed, all of those things. I've never made anybody feel like unwelcomed or anything like that. But there was a point where I did not enjoy or appreciate my staff in the way that I should have, because there was this energetic alignment that was missing. And I didn't show up in the way that I should have with my care team. Now it's been over 2 or 3 years since I've made that shift and that change. But a lot of people, once they are like kind of in that startup phase, they don't even think about that. And it's a big thing, especially if you're going to be scaling, especially if you're wanting to hit those targets and the revenue that you want to hit. It's not something that people talk about. It's not. And I know I'm kind of the outlier here, but it's important. And I think that getting through the startup phase comes to a lot of different things. And I mean, it does have a lot to do with the way you want to show up, but it has a lot to do also with how you address other people, and how your care team is and all of that. Because you can want to scale all you want to. If you don't have the staff to be able to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. And so showing up in the capacity that you want to, and the way that you want to, is going to be super important. And you can't do that properly if your mindset's not checked. You won't be able to get through you won't be able to get through a lot of these hurdles that are out there if you don't have that unwavering commitment, you don't have that grit, and you don't have that determination. I think that this is an important thing, and I can't wait to, we're working on some things in the back end that we'll give more details on soon. But I really want to dive into these things a bit more. I want to, because startup is great. Like, I'm here for startup all day long, but there's things that go beyond it, especially within that first year of being open, that people need to really look at, right? And I don't care if you've been open 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. There's a sense of community that's needed amongst providers, and so we're working on creating something like that. But if you are someone who has the desire, you have the nudge, right? You have all of these things that you are wanting to do as a provider with getting started, right? You're wanting to show up and make powerful, positive impact. You've been praying for this. You've been looking for a mentor. You've been looking for help and support. I want to invite you to apply to work with me inside of the Startup Provider Program. You just go to www.workwitharianaj.com and you apply there. You answer some questions and apply to work with me. Me and my team will review it, and then we'll get back with you. I want to help and support people get started on the right foundation, right? And it's more than just getting up in license. There's a lot that goes into it just for that, but there's more to it. And I have talked to so many people. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, you guys. My DMs be on fire, just so you know. So if you ever send me a DM and I don't get back with you right away, like, I apologize. I'm working on it. But here's the thing. I've talked to so many people who don't have any clients in their homes, programs, and services. It's the most devastating thing. They went through everything to get started, and they don't have the clients. They don't even have the revenue. They're in the red. Some of them are in the red for months. They're in the red for months. I will tell you, you don't want to do it that way. You just don't. Nobody wants to start a business and then be in the red and can't get out, right? So you want to start the business on the right foundation. I would love to help you do that. You need to look at all angles of being the provider and understand the business as a whole before you invest super, super heavy, right? And get yourself into a big situation you don't even know how to navigate. So happy to support you in that. Go to workwitharianaj.com and apply. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. All right. Bye for now.